Alright, hey, what's up, guys? This is elospeaks back here with another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about the recent, I'll say rumor, but I heard report as regards to, so Phil Jackson is going to be working in the front office with Janae Buss and Kurt Rambis and all of them in terms of what's the best decision moving forward for the Los Angeles Lakers, blah, blah. And we already know that LeBron James and Phil Jackson don't really see eye to eye with each other. They had a situation in 2016, I think it was 2016 or 2015, where Phil Jackson had made a comment saying how LeBron James liked to bring him and his gang or posse all around, and I think LeBron James took offense for that. So ever since then, it's been beef between them two, and you already know, there's no lost love between them. So in other news, we heard rumors about, since he's been working in the front upstairs, they were circling saying that Phil Jackson is wanting to trade LeBron James and keep Russell Westbrook in the Lakers. Okay, now as a NBA basketball coach, Phil Jackson is one of the greatest head coaches I've ever seen coach basketball. He's coached with one of the greatest players in NBA history. Two or three of them, at least in my top 10. As a NBA GM, front office guy, this guy's terrible. When he was working with the New York Knicks, it was just a disaster. He was making bad decision on bad decisions. I don't even want to go in on the bad decisions that he made. The one bright spot that he did do was for the New York Knicks was drafting Kristaps Porzingis, but even that didn't fall through completely because Kristaps Porzingis just didn't have what it takes to play in New York, and he ended up getting traded, and now he's in Washington, and his career is just fading away in obscurity. But as regards to that, if the Lakers were to do this trade, hypothetically speaking, this would be a bad move on the Lakers' part, and it's a twofold. It's bad because you will be trading LeBron James, and two, you'll be keeping Russell Westbrook. Now, I understand LeBron James is 37, going to be turning 38 in December, and he's not the spring chicken that he used to be 10 years ago when he was with Miami. But still, at this point in his career, he still brings a lot to the table, more than Russell Westbrook will ever bring in just a couple of years than if Russell Westbrook were to play 5 more years, because Russell Westbrook is not getting any better. He's starting to decline, and on top of that, it's just not going to get good for Russell Westbrook moving down. I don't see him playing on a championship contending team and contending for a title. He's just not that type of guy. He don't bring those type of intangibles or leadership to a team that's going to help you win. And even on a championship constructed roster, let's just say they had 2 superstars on the team and you added Russ, he's not a third guy that you would want to help you win a championship. He's just not. And I like Russ, but it is what it is. I have to call it out for what it is. Russell Westbrook is just not a championship winning player. He's a great stat machine. He's an entertaining player to watch, but if you're serious about trying to win a championship, building around Russell Westbrook is not the move. So that's where I would question Phil Jackson in terms of keeping Russell Westbrook. What you need to do is trade Russell Westbrook if you can. You most likely have to give up that 27th round pick for that first round pick in year 2027, which practically means you're going to be done for the decade in terms of drafting. But try to keep LeBron James, build around him, construct his roster as best as possible, and try to contend and just hope and pray that Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt, and see where you guys go from there. At that point, that's the only move you guys can make, because once you get rid of Russell Westbrook contract, now you guys gonna have a little bit more cap room to try to bring in some key pieces that might potentially want to play for the Lakers, and then continue to build around that and try to get some other old guys like Ariza, Melo, get rid of those guys. If Melo want to stay and take another vets minimum and come off the bench, I mean that would be okay. But the Lakers need some shooters and some 3-and-D guys that's gonna actually defend. They need some fresh legs on the court. And since they don't have no draft capital to do that, they're gonna have to work through free agency to see what they could do as regards to that. But as regards to this, they say that the reports that Jackson would prefer to trade LeBron James and keep Russell Westbrook during an appearance on the Doug Gottlieb's radio show. Now, I'm getting this report from Yahoo Sports, and Doug Gottlieb, he is a Fox Sports 1 commentator. I watch him sometimes depending on the topic that he talks about. I don't agree with a lot of things he said, but some of the things he do say do be interesting. But I'm going to quote what he said on the radio show on Fox Sports 1. And he says, I've heard that Phil would like to I've heard that Phil would like LeBron traded. I've just heard that, but I've got nothing to back that up. No on the record stuff, but back that up. I do know that Phil would like to keep Westbrook and try to make it work with him. End quote. So, as regards to that, it's honestly to say this is a rumor. Phil Jackson is not that dumb. Now, I understand he don't like LeBron, and who does? But still, I don't think he's that stupid to trade LeBron James and try to keep Russell Westbrook. Because I'm telling you, if you do keep Russell Westbrook, it's going to be a disaster, especially in LA. The media, the fans turned on Russell Westbrook, like I'll say a quarter into the season, once they realized that we're not gonna win a championship with this guy, and they were under 500. And then when Anthony Davis got hurt, and it was time for Russell Westbrook to step up, it just got more worse and worse and worse. And then everybody fully turned on, and of course LeBron James turned his back on Russell Westbrook, left him hanging, and he was out there to fend for himself with the Sharks, aka the media. People like Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, they were just attacking him on and on and on with an onslaught of embarrassing low light tapes of him breaking layups, him turning over the ball, him not defending. Overall, and it was just hard to watch. At first it was funny, I ain't gonna lie, it was funny, I was laughing, but then it just got hard to watch how they just kept on going on and on. And then Skip Bayless upped it up a notch where he brought back the iconic West Brick moniker and just kept on calling him that over and over because he has a low shooting percentage. And then Westbrook's wife got into the situation, and it just got ugly from there. But all in all, this whole report with Lakers front office and how they're thinking about, maybe trading LeBron James, but again, that's from Phil Jackson. And it might not even be from Phil Jackson. It could be just a rumor. It could be just a media narrative just to stir things up because, the Lakers are not in the playoffs no more. And LeBron James is the bell cow of the NBA where he makes the league the most money. So talking about him is always going to stir up clicks and stuff like that and views. So again, if this is true, which I don't think it is, this would be a horrible idea for Phil Jackson. And if Phil Jackson were to ever do this, I would have to question his basketball IQ in terms of a front office manager or a consultant of the Lakers, because I understand you don't like LeBron, but damn, that's not a reason to trade him to another team or trade him for draft capital just because you not see eye to eye. I understand LeBron James is a self-absorbed narcissist, but damn, there's no reason for it. You would have to get rid of him. And on top of that, what make it worse, it would be a keep Russell Westbrook. Can you imagine the pairing between Anthony Glass Davis and Russell Westbrook? That's a horrible combination. One guy that can't stay injured and another guy that's a turnover machine. The Lakers gonna miss the playoffs again. And besides, even at this particular age for LeBron James, he still brings a lot to the table in terms of scoring. So what would you get back from draft picks? That's gonna probably take 2 to 3 years to develop, because you're not gonna get equal return for LeBron James even at his current age right now. Is 37. He still brings a lot to the table. still maybe a top 12 player in the league right now. I don't care what they say. LeBron James as a top 10, I don't see it no more. I think he can't carry a team like he used to. I understand AD was hurt, but still, I just don't see him carry a team like he used to. He's starting to get up there in age. He's not defending as well as he used to, and that's just part of life. And for him to sustain this level of greatness for this long is already amazing, but he was going to decline sooner or later, so I'm not too surprised about that. But again, to trade LeBron James to another team and keep Russell Westbrook will be the most horrible decision Phil Jackson will ever make. And of course, I don't see Janae Buss making that decision, because LeBron James is going to be passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar season all-time scoring record next season, and I'm pretty sure she's going to want him to do that in a Lakers jersey for be a monumental moment. But we'll have to see how the season pans out. Will the Lakers be over 500, making the playoffs, could possibly contending for a championship, or would they be under 500, and this will just be a ceremonial achievement, a longevity achievement for LeBron James moving forward, and then see how it goes. Because I know LeBron James wants to play a couple more years until his son gets drafted into the league, and then he'll retire. But we want to see if he still possibly could contend for a title in the near future after this season over, with the playoffs still going on. But those are my thoughts and opinions on the matter. Let me know yours down in the comment section down below. Do you think Phil Jackson should trade LeBron? Do you think he shouldn't trade LeBron? Would it be a foolish move on his part? Let me know in the comment section down below. This is Elo Speaks out.
Coming in, yeah, flex, I just wanna win, yeah, LA BB who we running with, yeah, 2 2 3 3, I'm on 10 again.